who says that you can pronounce his name just like his Uncle Arnold, the Minister of Deregulation. Best title on this whole panel. Yeah. Kind of amazing. Are you the first Minister of Deregulation in Argentina?
Yes.
I guess so. And you know, when we started thinking about this with President Milei, he said, well, maybe we should be the Minister of Modernization. I said, no, because the state doesn't modernize. The state pushes you backwards. So it would be, if we want to improve the state, that would be the backwardation minister. And I think that sounds very good, okay? And also President Milei says, I also don't want you to be the simplification minister, because I don't want you ever to think about simplifying something without asking yourself before if that thing that you were about to simplify should exist in the first place, okay? So we kind of asked a deeper question, and that's how we got to the deregulation name.
So let's start with Minister Al-Hamadi. So you have changed a remarkable number of laws in your country.
Yes.
I believe it's something like 85% over the last...
90%.
90%. I was out of date. I Googled this 3 hours ago. So 90% of the laws explain, and it's in the last 3 years?
4 years.
4 years. Explain the most consequential and interesting changes that you've done for tech and for AI.
There was a direction from the leadership in the UAE that we need to relook to our laws. When I'm saying about regulations, we have different layers of regulations. Now I'm talking about the first layer, which is the law itself.
Yeah.
We have laws that was valid since 30 years, 40 years, 50 years ahead. So we need to know, we actually did some type of deregulation in terms of that we look to our regulations and to see which one of them is still valid and which one of them we need to repeal. So there was hundreds of teams working parallelly under the supervision of the cabinet in the UAE. And all the teams, they were working because, as you know, United Arab Emirates is a federal country. So we have laws at the federal, and whenever we do any law, we have to coordinate with the federal entities and with the local governments also. We have 7 local governments. So actually, the process was, we were struggling a lot, but everyone has the same vision because we has been cascaded from the top to down that we need to do that changes. And we could, within the 4 years, 90% of our laws have been updated. We did massive revolution in our regulatory framework. 90% have been updated. We have repealed more than 100 laws. So in terms of, before the session, I was talking to the Minister of Deregulation. I say, how many regulations you have deregulated? He said, 1,000. I said, how come? How many thousands you can do it? And then he explained to me, I said, is it law? He said, the number of the articles that they have removed. And if we talk about the articles, even though in United Arab Emirates, thousands of articles have been changed, thousands of them have been modified. And to do that one, actually, it took a long effort from us. And then we thought 6 months back, how can we use AI to do for us that revolutions?
Yeah.
So we don't do it again as manual. And here, there was a project has been approved by the leaders in the UAE that we want to develop intelligence-led regulation model. We need a model. Is it, somebody will tell me the first time, are you going to use AI tools to draft for you your laws? We said, no, we need more than this. We don't want only, for example, ChatGPT to draft for us a law. However, we need to have a model that listen and speak to the social media. So any law that we issue it in the UAE, we need to listen at a large scale to all our stakeholders to see what is their comment or what is their feedback about the law. So anything that, and then with the AI to analyze that one and to tell us that article, that law needs, there is a lot of comments, positive or negative about it, and then he will suggest for us what changes we have to do in that specific law. We need that model to speak to the court. So we want to assure that the law, when it goes to the court, is being implemented right. So the court ruling, is it compatible with the law or not? We need also a model that speak to the service that is delivered to the customers and stakeholders and our investors to see if our requirements that we put in the regulations, is it complicated, it is too much, is it less or more? So we combined all these features in the project that we are working with one of the AI company. Yesterday we have launched the first white paper about what we have learned so far in this project. Right. And we hope that within the project is 2 years project, we have a model that can be shared with all the government worldwide. They can share, they can learn from it, and there will be a lot of case studies about it.
Fascinating. That interesting stuff, lots in it that I want to get back to, but let's go to Minister Sturzenegger. You've knocked out you haven't changed 90% of your laws, but you've knocked out
13,500.
And what was the most consequential and beneficial when it comes to AI?
Okay, let me see where to start. We started working 2 years before Milei became president. We reviewed all the laws of Argentina, and we classified them. Laws that had to go, laws that were okay, and laws that changed. And we had all these things prepared by the time he became president. And this is what allowed us to make such a swift reform in 1 year and a half. So deregulation requires some preparation, correct? Now, we didn't have an AI law. So I didn't have any AI law to deregulate because there was nothing. So my only task in this moment with AI law is that no AI law appears. Okay, so we want in Argentina to make sure and give the message that we do not want to regulate AI.
So
okay?
You added a regulation?
No, we don't have. So I want to make, but all the congressmen, they all want to have a law regulating artificial intelligence.
But isn't it a law saying we can't have a law?
Well, if you want to put it that way, yes. We don't want to have anything, okay? Just call that as the way you want. Then I think there are actually two other questions which I think are interesting in the relationship between regulation or deregulation and artificial intelligence is, will artificial intelligence change the need for regulation at large? Let me give you one example. One of the reasons we regulate some sectors is something called asymmetric information. So, for example, there's asymmetric information. The financial sector is regulated because you think there's some asymmetric information. The depositor kind of doesn't know about the bank, so you have like a regulated system which kind of provides the guarantee, etc. So asymmetric information in many areas of economic activity, you have asymmetric information in many markets, is the justification for regulation. Now I say, if artificial intelligence gives us a lot of knowledge, doesn't it solve itself the asymmetric information problem? And if it solves the asymmetric information problem, then we don't need to regulate that. So I think there's a relationship of artificial intelligence maybe changing the need. This is a question I'm just posing. I'm just proposing the debate. But I think it may be the case that it may eliminate the need for regulation in certain areas because it will help solve those issues that the regulation was supposed to solve. So I think that's an interesting line of thought. And then the third one is, can we use AI to generate the deregulation, which is a little bit what the minister was just mentioning. And we really haven't gotten in that there yet, because the reason is we're not so much in the business of rewriting regulations, but in the business of removing regulation, because sometimes we have this fantasy that regulation in an economy is built like by a well-intentioned central planner, you know, some bureaucrat thinking about how to do good to society. Well, of course, this may be different in different countries. In the case of Argentina, my finding is that most of the regulation is not the result of a benevolent central planner, but it's the result of interest. Kind of people using the state as a way of building a regulation, which at the end of the day is like a ring fencing competition, generating privilege.
Deregulation also.
Well, I mean, if the regulation is the result of, which is what I find in Argentina, which regulation is the result of some sector which has been able to generate something which blocks entry, which is really what we're going after, then in that case, deregulation is really kind of an obvious choice.